Let's go to New York. Let's bring in John Catsimatidis, a US businessman, founder of the Red Apple Group, which owns more than 400 gas stations across the US and an oil refinery as well. John also owns several US radio stations, including WABC through the Red Apple Media Group, and is a personal friend of President Trump. John, welcome to France 24. Great to see you tonight.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. I must say that I do not represent the government of the United States. I do not represent the president. Just to give you my opinion, as friends with President Trump and knowing him for almost 50 years, me and him, he knows what I'm going to do, and I know usually what he's going to do. But I think President Trump is dedicated to make the free world free world. He wants to protect North America. He wants to protect Europe. And he wants to get rid of terrorism in the Middle East. Nuclear weapons in Iran is not negotiable, and he means that. And terrorism in whether it's Hezbollah, whether it's Hamas, whether it's the Houthis, it's not negotiable. We got to get rid of terrorism, make the Red Sea open for all shipments, make the Strait of Hormuz open for all shipments. And President Trump and our military, they got weapons they haven't used yet. And I know that, I can't tell you how I know it, but I know it. And they are not afraid of going in there and doing what they have to do. The Iranians should check with the Venezuelans. They did what we went in there, they took it like the old expression was that Grant went through Richmond in the United States. It's unstoppable force, unstoppable. And Russia is with Putin is, I believe, with President Trump. The China Sea is with President Trump. He's not going to, President Trump already said to China, you have all the oil you want. They're not going to have, it's just a negotiation on price, but you have all the oil you want and they trust each other.
Yes.
Not like what happened with Roosevelt in World War II, where he shut off Japan from oil and forced World War II with Pearl Harbor. And he reminded the Prime Minister of Japan last week.
Yeah, we heard that, didn't he?
And,
so you're the king,
yes,
the queen of surprises, effectively.
He is committed. He is committed.
You pick up on a couple of points. You make a few points that actually will go to some historical comparisons that are kind of worthwhile here and resonate. Let me ask you, first of all, given what David just said, given about the Iranians saying that they are expecting a ground attack, they know the secret, they say, a few journalists in the past few weeks, usually on a Sunday, have been able to call President Trump's mobile number. They've got through. He's had sometimes up to 8-minute conversation explaining what he's been doing, shooting the breeze, giving some answers. Have you spoken to President Trump since the war began? And if you haven't, and you had the chance, what would you say to him now? Stop where you are, or would you welcome ground forces?
I was with him on Thursday. We were celebrating Greek Independence Day at the White House. We spent a few minutes privately. He is committed to making sure the free world stays free. He is committed that I believe that the three major powers of the world is Russia, China, and President Trump. There will not be a World War III because the three of them agree on that. There's not going to be a shortage of oil. The price of oil will come down. I would say it will come down in WTI, which is the United States terms, between $55 and $65 a barrel within a few weeks. This will all end in 3, 4, 5 weeks. And we want the free world to be the free world. And I said to the Europeans when I was on the BBC last week, and I said to them, whom do you trust? Do you trust Putin, or do you trust Trump in Washington?
I guess President Trump's answer to that himself would be, I think he said, I trust very few people, if anyone, was President Trump's answer when he was asked that question himself. To you, John, let me ask, the idea of ground forces, if you spoke to him, maybe that didn't come up, but do you think that should go ahead?
I do not get involved in the military. But President Trump, if they go in, and I don't know if they're going in, but they're prepared to do anything, they're going to go in with an unstoppable force, with air power. They will destroy everything in front of them. They're not going to allow one soldier to die. Hey, if soldiers going to die, soldiers always die. But they're not going to allow it. They're going to go in there with an unstoppable force. And that's what I know about President Trump.
Let's talk about an area you know very well, John, and how you're affected at the moment by the chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz. You've got more than 400 gas stations, as I mentioned. What price rises are you implementing at the forecourts? What changes are we seeing?
The price of oil is up, but it's all speculation. Don't forget, under President Biden, you had $90 oil, $100 oil for 4 years. So when people complained about me about, oh, you got $100 oil right now, it's all how they say in America, crap, because it's going to be like that for 1 month, maybe 2 months, not 4 years like it was with President Biden. You're going to have normal prices resume, and the war should be over in the next 30 to 60 days.
So on the issue of Brent crude, so right now it's above $100, about $105 to $108. During the Biden administration, as you talked about, often traded between $70 to $90 a barrel. Occasional spikes above 90. It hit $119 a barrel. This is just after the start of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. I imagine right now, in the short term, it's not great for those. I don't know if they're queuing at the moment, or you're seeing people using a pattern of using less fuel, but this is probably good news for you in the short term.
Well, look, you don't know. Everybody, Aramco and all the majors are making a ton of money because of Brent, but it's going to be over. Like I said before, under President Biden, it was like that for 4 years. And now under President Trump, it was back down to $55 a barrel WTI, maybe 60, 65 under Brent. But the normal price in WTI is going to be 55 to 65. In Brent, probably 60 to 70. And that's going to happen once the terrorists are gone. We cannot allow terrorism in the free world. We want the free world to be free. I believe, my personal belief is that Putin, China, and the United States are working closely together. Are there going to be minor skirmishes here and there? Always going to be minor skirmishes. But that I believe that those three powerful countries are going to work together, and they'll do what they have to do in the meantime.
You, John, I think were in your early 20s during the OPEC crisis of 1973. There was an embargo imposed by the OPEC Arab state members responding to Western support for Israel in the Yom Kippur War back in 73. Crude oil prices back then quadrupled. There was an effective rationing in the US at gas stations. I think in New York, where you are, you could only buy gas on certain days based on your license number plates as well. What do you remember of the extent of the shock back then?
Well, I remember back in the 90s or 10, 20 years ago. And you don't forget, one of the country's leading economists in America, Larry Kudlow, is a personal friend of mine. Larry Kudlow and me agree 100% that at this point, buy equities, sell oil short, because that problem is going to go away in the next 30 to 60 days.
You say 35 to 60 days. I want to ask two things. One, if you think actually we will see that reflected in the price coming down at gas stations, particularly in the US.
And when it comes down, it's going to come down fast. So whatever profits people make, and the gas stations don't make the profits, our refinery just makes the spread. When the gas station, when the peace happens, it's going to come down $20 in 1 day. It's going to come down immediately. And once it comes down immediately, $20 a barrel, and guess what? The consumer wants to see that at the gas stations the next day. So somebody's going to lose money at that point.
When you hear the language, though, that you're giving a slightly different rhetoric to when we listen to Fatih Birol, who's the director of the International Energy Agency, who says that the current energy crisis is one of the most severe in history. He said it's worse than the combined shock of the 70s we just talked about, and also from the Ukraine war. Do you agree?
Well, no, because check my reputation. I've been more right than wrong over the last 2, 3, 4 years.
A few months ago, when we look back at President Trump before Iran and before the capture of Maduro, chasing the Nobel Peace Prize, he picked up the FIFA Peace Prize. How do you reconcile that with his decision to go to war?
I think President Trump wants to be the greatest president that the world has ever had. That is President Trump's mission. And he wants peace in the world. He gave Venezuela so many chances. He's given Cuba so many chances. He's given Iran. He told them exactly what he's going to do. So many chances. Nuclear weapons. You cannot trust nuclear weapons in a country like the management of Iran. And President Trump does not want to occupy Iran. He wants the Iranian people, a peaceful people, to run Iran. He doesn't want terrorists running Iran.
A quick thought, because you talk about the situation for the US. Obviously, you can see the situation around the world, Asian countries, Cambodia, Indonesia, problems with rationing, problems with getting to the pumps, long lines of queues as well. We hear about the Houthis getting involved in Yemen, Iranian-backed, targeting Israel, threatening to target shipping again. And if they hit the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, the other strait, which is key and more important in some ways for US oil and Europe as well, does that change the game?
It does not change the game. The United States represents an unstoppable force at this point. There's nobody going to stop it.
John, it's great to talk to you. I should finally mention this, because if people are watching you now thinking, I recognise that guy, it is worth saying you had a cameo role in the Oscar-winning film Marty Supreme. You were trying to sound Timothée Chalamet something. Was it a ping pong ball?
I was playing opposite Timothée Chalamet. It was my first movie, but I won no Oscar. I lost. We lost. And maybe next time, maybe I should get an agent. Maybe we could do another movie. I enjoyed it.
Given the situation right now on the forecourts, Johnny, you're not thinking about. I know you've joined the Actors Screen Guild, I'm told, as a result of that. Are you sticking with your business, or are you thinking about treading the boards?
I'm working at the age of 77. I'm working 7 days a week. They're having no King's Day. I'm not a king. I work 7 days a week, so you can't call me a king.
John, lovely to talk to you tonight. Great to hear your thoughts. John Catsimatidis, US businessman and founder of the Red Apple Group. Thank you.